Well, that didn't go very well. So much for the intro. Anyway, folks, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the channel. Tonight we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to do an all Kiss show. And I was racking my brain thinking, okay, who could I invite on the show that is at least as much of a Kiss nerd as myself? And the first person to pop into my head is my buddy Mike, who also happens to be the drummer in my band, Rebel Charm. So Mike's got a whole ton of stories, and I want to bring him on and welcome him to the show. And here he is. Hey, Mike, how are you, man?
Hey, buddy. What's going on?
Not too much.
You ready to do this?
Yeah, ready to do this. Well, let me say hello to some of the folks. We got 10 people in here so far. We got Tom is in the house. Welcome. There's Mitch Heyman. There's Rick Hefner. Nice to see you. Hurricane Moon, Half Face. Chris K, who's got a question immediately that we will address in a bit. Okay, he's asking about Ace playing the final Kiss show. Laz is with us. Daniel Horsley. Oh, Quentin is in here. Quentin is a huge Kiss fan. I'm being very sarcastic. Brian S. is with us. Janice, Don. There's the first jump of the night. Okay, let me get caught up here again. Okay, Jimmy Biter. Who else we got? Dwight is with us. Zach Thong. Said hello to Mitch already, I believe. There's DT. Okay, cool. If anyone's got any questions as we go through this, let me know, and I will pass those on to Mike and myself, because I could probably pitch in since we're talking about Kiss. And there's Laz. Welcome, Laz. How are you, man? All right. So, Mike.
Yep.
What's your Kiss story? So what was the event or the record, or what sort of got you into the band?
I think my dad had Destroyer because my dad.
Wow.
And because he liked the song Beth. And I remember seeing the album cover as a kid, and I just loved it. I thought they looked awesome, and I loved the music too. And at the same time, we actually moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. That was in 1977. I lived there for 3 years.
Right.
And the next door neighbor had a kid that was pretty much my age, and he's the one who really got me into Kiss, because he had like a Live 2, and you know, the album came with tattoos, and it just, like, everything was so cool about it,
right?
So fast forward to 1979, I went to my first Kiss concert. So
August 4th.
What's that?
August 4th, Maple Leaf Gardens. I was there too.
No. This was in Charlotte, North Carolina, though. I wasn't living in Toronto at that point.
Right. Okay.
So so the next door neighbor's dad took his son and me, and it was amazing. It was like seeing superheroes in real life,
right.
Like, it was incredible. So ever since then, so that was my first show, and I'm at 44 shows now, and which isn't, trust me, I have friends who are like into the hundreds. So
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, man.
Well, you got me beat. I think I'm at around 20.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You got me beat. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was it? It was the fact that they're like superheroes and the music was cool. Like what was the
well as a kid, yeah. I mean, it was the best of both worlds. It was like, you've got these guys that are, like, to me anyway, were like superheroes, and I love the music.
Yes.
And that's kind of what got me interested in drums, was Peter Criss. And I mean, yeah, like, I don't know. It's something that stuck with me since I was a little kid, and I can't seem to let go of it. So I've just become crazier, and I've given Gene a lot of my money. So
You and me both.
Yeah, Gene and Paul. So
Yeah, yeah, Gene and Paul. Yeah, yeah. It's funny you mentioned the music a couple of times. Like that's the one thing that for people that are sort of don't really Kiss is sort of in the as a side thing. They're kind of looking
mhm,
at it. They're not really looking deep into it.
yeah,
All they see is these guys in makeup and costumes, and who cares? It's whatever. But yeah, for me, it was the music. It's so like I the first time I heard heavy guitar, like really heavy, something that wasn't on AM radio, like rock guitar.
mhm,
That kind of like really opened my eyes, right? And it was, I mean, I have an uncle of mine he's almost like an older brother. He's like 6 years older than me. And when we'd be driving in his car, he'd have back, I'm going way back. He had 8-track tapes, right?
oh yeah,
And he'd be popping in like Nazareth, right? And Heart and like, Aerosmith. And I'm like, holy shit, man. Like that, as soon as I heard heavy guitar, it just hit me so hard. And then a kid in school had came to school one day and he had a magazine with like pictures of these guys with makeup. I'm like, oh, and he's like, oh yeah, these guys are a band, this and that, whatever. And then similar to you, I had a neighbor who had like a Kiss record, and he's like, yeah, come listen. So I went to his place and I listened to it, and then it's like, oh, it's those guys with the makeup.
yeah,
And now it's like there's the marriage of the heavy music, with the makeup. It's like that's the whole package. I mean, this is the greatest thing in the world, right?
mhm,
And at that time, I would have been 10 years old. So it's the same kind of thing. And you know what?
yeah,
When something hits you that young, I mean, I'm 53. It's lasted 43 years.
mhm,
You
yeah,
know. Now, I mean, there's been times, and I'm sure that it's happened with you, where like that you couldn't have loved the band equally through all their entire career. Were there times in their career where you're like, oh man,
you
you
know,
pull away a bit? No.
no, not really. I mean, I think you and I have even talked about this before. Like, even when they went and they did Unmasked, like, I still love that album. I
That's
think
one of
it's
my
a,
favorites.
yeah, it's a great album,
It's
right?
awesome.
I think the only time I kind of like, I never checked out of them, but at the time when The Elder came out, I was like, what the,
Yeah, like you and everybody else.
it was different, right? And then like with they changed their look and everything. I mean, today, like I'll listen to The Elder and I love it, right? It's like
Me too.
I never hated it, but it was kind of like, oh, what are they doing? But I mean, from the time I was into them, even when they put Dynasty out and everyone thought they went disco, it's like, I was fine with it,
Hmm.
you know. So yeah, so I mean, so yeah, there's never really been a time that I've checked out, but yeah, I'd say The Elder at that time, it was weird. Like
Yeah.
I remember seeing the record and I was like, there's no pictures of them. Like what's
Yeah.
going
That's
on,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think I cashed out. I cashed out with them in the '80s.
mhm,
Right. Like I was good. I was really. I mean, I remember when the Lick It Up record came out,
yeah,
and here's how much of a nerd I was. So the Lick It Up record came out, and for whatever reason, I knew when it was coming out, and I called like every record store, and nobody had it except for one, and it was way the hell. I can't even remember where it was, but I mean, I wasn't driving or nothing, right? So I took
yeah,
the bus for like an hour to get to this one store.
yeah,
And I walked in and I said, hey, I came from such and such. I go, do you have the new? And the guy's like, oh yeah, they just came in. How the hell did you know we have them? I goes, because I called. And the guy literally opens the box and pulls out the first copy, in Toronto.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow.
And just because I wanted to see the cover, because I was
Yeah.
like, it's unmasked, like they had no makeup on.
Yeah. I mean, there was no internet or anything to see that, right? Like, yeah, it's funny. Like each Kiss album for me is like a timestamp, Like
Yeah.
I could tell you exactly where I was when I got it. Like I remember, when Look It Up came out, I bought it at Sam the Record Man at Square One,
Right.
and my dad bought it for me because I mean, my dad's a great guy, and he he's sort of responsible for me turning into this Kiss monster, I guess. But I mean, yeah, I remember for Animalize, Asylum, and Crazy Nights. You remember when records used to come out in the States before they came out in Canada?
Yeah.
So my mom and stepdad, they had friends in Rochester, New York. So they would always go over and visit with them. And I would tell them, like, you got to get me the new Kiss album, right? And they would bring it back, to me before it came out in Canada. I mean, now they all come out at the same
Yeah.
time, right? But yeah, man, just
Well, what I like, I first got my first record was Destroyer, right? So
mm,
I was, I don't know, I was 10, right? And I'm with my parents and we're walking through Sears in at Yorkdale. Okay.
yeah,
Right. And there just happened to be like a record rack. So I run to the record rack and I'm like looking at, because I wanted this band that looked and sounded amazing, right? And I'm like, and then I see the cover of Destroyer. I'm like, I'm like, well, and it was really expensive at the time. It was like $7. This is like 19. Oh, what is this? 70. I was 10, so it would have been around 76, like just months after the record came out.
yeah,
And oh, it's really expensive. I was like, oh, please, please. So they bought me Destroyer, and I only bought it because the cover was so cool. And I remember, like, I'd come home from school for lunch, and I would put on Destroyer, and I'd listen to Detroit Rock City and King of the Nighttime World.
yeah,
I'd go back to school, and it felt like I just got a shot of heroin. Like I was so pumped. Just,
yeah,
and looking at the cover and looking at the liner, and I'm like, oh my god, And then every birthday and every Christmas after that, it's like, okay, now I gotta get all the other albums that they have out, right?
yeah.
Now I don't know if you remember the originals.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I have the originals, but I also have the originals too. Have you seen that?
The originals too. That was a Japan only release, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, um, that's like apparently super super rare, or
Very rare.
if you can find it like on eBay or something, it's super expensive. But I had to have it in my collection, and I had to justify why I had to have it in my collection. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really cool piece. Like if you're a collector of vinyl and stuff like that, it's really cool.
Yeah, you're gonna have to show me that one day. But
Oh yeah.
so I had and then I had the originals, and then it was like, all right, then when I turned 11, then all the records started coming out, right? So then it's
Mm,
like Rock and Roll Over came out, and then Love Gun came out, and then oh man, here's here's how much of it. So I'm like a little kid when they used to show the ads for Kiss Alive 2. Remember when they had the live clips in the ads?
yeah.
And there was, I don't know if there was like a WUTV channel 29, right?
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. I
Right?
remember that channel.
They were the only channel that would show the ads for the record, right? And I
Yeah.
would sit and I would watch all this crappy TV shows, just sitting, waiting for like a 15-second clip of like Gene, and here's Paul, and here's
Yeah.
Denise, just to watch that clip. And then it's available, and it was it was in the States, it was Buffalo. Here's a,
Mhm.
AM&A's and available this and that, right? So I remember going, I gotta get this record. It's at AM&A's, and they're like, we don't have AM&A's. I'm like, where am I gonna get this record?
Oh,
Oh,
that's awesome.
oh man, you bring back so many memories, man.
That was like
And-
when Kiss Meets the Phantom came on TV for the first time. And by that time, I had a few more friends who were into Kiss, and it seemed like the day that they aired that movie, none of the kids were playing on the streets because everybody was home. They wanted to watch this movie.
right.
And back then, I thought it was great. I still think it's a classic. I mean, I don't know, man. It brings back so many childhood memories. Like I'll watch it today even, I mean,
Yeah,
it is what it is. It was a fun thing at the time, and you
man.
know,
You know, all those Kiss events, like when they were on the Paul Lynn Halloween special,
yeah.
I knew they were on the Paul Lynn Halloween special,
Hmm.
and it's like, we had one TV, right? And we're watching it, and I'm telling my parents, "Oh, Kiss is on, Kiss is on." So there'd be a commercial. I'd switch to the channel for a second. I'd watch like 30 seconds. Oh, okay, the commercial's over. I didn't get this. I only saw snippets of it because they wouldn't let me watch it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and when Kiss Meets the Phantom, when that movie came out, I found out afterwards I actually missed the original airing of it.
Oh.
And oh man, that was like one of the biggest traumas that I experienced as a kid.
Yeah.
I did not get to see it.
Because again, there was no internet. There weren't even VCRs, so you couldn't tape it yet.
Exactly. So you know what I did? It's like what I went and we get like the Sunday Sun, and it had a new like a TV guide in it, and every time we got the Sun, this is how much of a geek I was. I'd go into the Sunday Sun and I'd look up every movie waiting for them to rerun it, and I did that for freaking years until finally they reran it.
Yeah.
And then I got to see it, and I wanted a videotape, but you couldn't, or like VCRs, whatever. So I had this like microphone, and I was recording the dialogue just so I had like a piece of that movie. I was telling you, man, I was like 12 or whatever, like 13. I was like, oh man, that's how obsessed I was.
It's funny you say that because I remember when we actually watched it for the first time. I recorded it on, remember those big, huge tape recorders with the big mic.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I put the microphone. I remember hanging over the volume knob, and I recorded the audio to the whole movie,
Right.
just so I could listen to it. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we did crazy stuff like that. It was fun.
Yeah.
It still is.
It still is. And then, the other, and I don't know, one of my buddies got the phone number to like Maple Leaf Gardens.
Hmm.
And we would call like every other week. Is Kiss coming? When's Kiss coming? Is Kiss coming? We just kept calling them, right? Like,
yeah,
this week? Are they going? Oh, they might be coming in a month. So is it this month? It was nuts, man. It was absolutely nuts how obsessed as a kid.
yeah.
And then when the comic books came out, like, holy shit, man. When that Marvel comic came out,
Oh yeah.
oh my God. And then they put out 2 comics, and I got both of those.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then magazines every time, there was like the local smoke shop, go in there and look for 16 magazine used to always have Kiss stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you were lucky enough to come across a Creamer Hit Parader, and then I had other family members, they the Hit Parader, they'd see like Peter Criss on the cover, bring that home to me. And yeah, crazy, man.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Now they're barely putting anything out. So
yeah, well, nothing's gonna drive that enthusiasm that that you had as a kid anyways. So
yeah.
But printed in real Kiss blood. That's right, fruitcake.
That's right.
That's right. Real Kiss. And I remember like, oh man, and I'd look at all the red ink. That's their blood, man.
Yeah. I remember so many people were against that too. Like a lot of these I forget what kind of groups they are, but that's the whole thing when they said that Kiss was like Satan and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, Knights in Satan's Service.
Yeah, I mean that kind of came a little bit later, but yeah, I remember like once it came out that their blood was in the ink, like people were just like freaked out by that. Non-Kiss fans, anyway. I thought it was cool. I was like, "Give me more!"
Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah, and then the Kiss cards came out. I had the whole. I collected all of those. God knows where they are now.
I have all that stuff.
All right, so questions are coming in. So Quentin James is asking, is it a Kiss doll or an action figure? Asking for a friend. Swear. Okay, Kiss makes action figures. They do not make dolls.
Yeah, that's exactly what I say. It's action figures. They do not make dolls.
There you go. That is an action figure. I'm showing my my Kiss Pop Rocks that my son just got me. So there you go. All right, Hack, you gotta say, how was I? Yeah, I'll get to that. So let me ask you this, Mike. So I mean, obviously you have all the records. So what is like your favorite, if you were to rank all the Kiss records, and I don't know how many there's been, 25, 30 at this point. What is like your absolute favorite Kiss record?
See, that's a hard question because there's so many chapters of the band. Like if you were to ask me the classic lineup, I'd probably say something like Rock and Roll Over.
Perfect.
Um,
That is the right answer.
yeah. And then like later on when they got Eric Carr, like I love Creatures still to this day.
Yeah.
That album is awesome. It's so good. So like I love that one. Non-makeup era, it's tough. I mean, everybody says Revenge. I love that album, but I also love like the mid 80s Kiss too, right? Like I mean, Asylum and I mean Asylum has so many good songs on it. So again, it's in chapters, right? Like I could tell you my favorite album for the classic lineup and then when they started changing and so on and so forth. But yeah, classic album I'd say Rock and Roll Over.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I've been with them through all their lineups, and I'm still, when it comes right down to brass tacks, I'm still an original four guy. That for me, like, because that's the that was the band that got me going, and yeah, and because of that, I'm kind of biased. I'll have to go with Rock and Roll Over.
Mm-hmm.
So Fruitcake Tony's asking, what's their best non-Kiss album, or non-makeup? Sorry, album, not Kiss. Non-Kiss would probably be the older. I would say probably for me it would probably be, I don't know, man. Maybe Lick It Up or Animalize. Maybe Lick It Up. Because with Lick It Up, there was what I found with that, like that's when Paul's voice made a huge leap, right? From even Creatures, he was kind of going there, but then Lick It Up he got, and then Animalize he pushed it even further. That's when Paul was trying to break glass with his voice, right?
Well, think of A Million to One, that middle part where he does that long note, like that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a shame. Like
Paul today.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's older and everything, and it happens to a lot of singers, but like Paul has always been my favorite singer, and
yeah,
it's sad. Like I have tons of bootlegs, as you know, and so do you. And you go back and you watch something from even say a Live 35 tour.
I was gonna say that's the last time Paul was like,
yeah,
yeah.
It started going during Sonic Boom, and it went down pretty quick from there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, I saw Live 35 in Detroit.
Yeah, I was there too. Oh yeah, because you were
on. I was first night. You were second night.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Gene got stuck the night that I went.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. I'm like, you didn't get stuck my night. It's like, okay, you were there the second night, and yeah, Paul was still absolutely belting it at that point. And then I went to see them where it became like, I mean, I went to the Sonic Boom and I went to the Monster and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And but when it was like really just painstakingly obvious that this guy should hang it up, was I went to one of the Rama shows.
Yeah.
And this is when they were wearing the Creatures of the Night outfits. And he was saying hello to the crowd, and already his voice was gone. He hadn't even sung a note yet, and I'm like,
we were both. That's the day that we met in the parking lot afterwards.
Was that the one?
Yeah, I think so.
That's right. We met leaving. Yeah, that was. I don't know.
I mean, you've got to go. I mean, when you go to a Kiss show now, you have to know what you're gonna. You should have your expectations set to, where they're going to be as a Kiss fan. I mean, even for even just seeing them last year, I mean, I knew what Paul's voice was going to sound like, but so I mean, you kind of just have to get past that.
Yeah.
Some people just can't.
Yeah.
But either way, like, they still put on a great show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the set list could have, well, we've been there, done that, the set list is always.
That's another thing, the issue that I have is the set list is always the same.
Yeah.
I mean, they might swap in one or two songs. If I hear War Machine again or I Love It Loud, I'm going to kill somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. But the thing is, their answer to that is that they want to appeal to the occasional fan. Well, right. I brought my girlfriend to the last show, and I mean, she doesn't know War Machine.
Right.
She doesn't know Say Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the songs she did know, but there were a lot that she didn't. And it's, I don't know.
Difference.
Yeah.
So Tony's asking, either of you seen them this tour?
Yeah.
End of the Road? Yeah. I saw them. So here's a funny story, right? So I saw them, was it last year, April, I think? Yeah, it would have been last year.
Oh yeah, it was March.
Was it March?
Because you went to the first one.
I went to the first one. So they were when they were coming into town, and the whole sort of talk of that tour was, okay, this is the last chance to see us. We're only going to hit your city once. We're never coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess, well, let me go see them one last time. So I went to that, and then they came back in October. Like, okay.
No, it was August.
Oh, August they came back.
I think it was August 19th.
Okay, because I did not go to the second one. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I got suckered in. No, I didn't get suckered in. I volunteered. And I went to that show, and then I saw them again in Buffalo at the beginning of February. That was with David Lee Roth opening up.
Yeah.
And boy, am I glad I did, because it was shortly after that the whole world turned upside down with this virus. So.
Right. Yeah, when I saw them, their opening act was a painter.
Yeah, that was.
What's that about?
I felt a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, the guy's up there like trying to get the crowd riled up while he makes a quick painting.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, this is cool.
Well, again, actually, I've got a funny story on the, the band Danger Danger.
Yeah,
are you familiar with them?
Yeah. So
they opened for Kiss on the Hot in the Shade tour, and I'll never forget. I met Ted Poley, the singer, and he told me this story how he met they were doing their show, and they the way they, I don't know if they do it now, but like they throw towels out into the crowd.
Right. Well, right? Gene used to do that.
Yeah. Gene does that all the time, right? So after, I think it was like one of the first shows that they did, and Gene came up to Ted Poley and said, "You owe us $70." And Ted Poley's like, "What? $70 for what?" And he says, "You threw out 7 towels. Each towel was $10. You owe us." And he was dead serious.
Oh my God.
Like, Ted Poley thought he was joking. I can't remember if it was $10 or $5 or whatever. But yeah, at the end of the night, Gene came up basically with a tally saying, "You owe us this money for throwing out those towels." So I guess they were expecting that they were going to get reused or washed and then used.
Washed and reused.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. Like, it didn't surprise me, but it was a funny story.
We got an interesting question. This is from Ian Luckett. He's asking, do you think Love Gun is overlooked slightly?
I love Love Gun.
Love Gun is great.
Love Gun is probably like my favorite guitar solo.
Love Gun for me is like it's one of the top 3, maybe the top 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and Love Gun's got a lot of hidden gems, songs like that don't get, like Got Love for Sale is amazing.
Yeah.
Almost Human is one of the best. That's a song why I don't know that it why they, like God of Thunder I never really liked, and I mean I would have loved to hear them do Almost Human in place of that, because that's a good Gene song.
Yeah.
Songs like that. Well, of course, Love Gun that's been played to death is on there. I Stole Your Love. Shock Me is on there. But there's some good hidden gems in that record. I don't know if it got overlooked. I don't know. I'll tell you a record that gets overlooked is Hotter Than Hell.
Oh yeah.
Hotter Than Hell. I mean, if you can get past the production. Because it is, I mean, well, you're a drummer, Mike. I mean, the drum sound on that record is non-existent. I mean, it's
pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, right? Like, which brings something I wanted to talk about with Kiss. Like, I mean, reading interviews with Paul. He always said, like, we never had records that sounded as good as like My Heroes, right? So, and he would often quote, like, mention like Led Zeppelin. Now, I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying Kiss is even in the same league as Led Zeppelin. I'm just talking about sonics, right? Like, they never had, that grandiose, that big, sound. I mean, Destroyer apart, but Destroyer for me is kind of a little overproduced as far as I'm concerned. But they never really had that, and the whole reason for them doing the Rock and Roll Over, which I mean, I don't have to tell you, they recorded that in the Star Theater in upstate New York in I believe the town is called Nanuet, and it basically is a theater in the round, and they recorded it there, sort of like in an open area to kind of make everything sound bigger. And it does sound better than most of the records, but it's still not at that level, as the other. And Hotter Than Hell is actually even that and their first record are like prime examples of records that just sound weak, and that's why the Alive record is so great, because it takes now the songs are like they're played live outside of that shitty production, and then that's when those songs came to life. But like for me, that like one of the best, like, talk about hidden gems on that Hotter Than Hell record is Strange Ways.
Yeah,
that's
I love that guitar solo too.
I think that's one of my top 5 ace solos ever. I mean, and that song is like, I mean, I'd put that up against any Black Sabbath song. I mean, it's just incredible.
Remember they remixed Destroyer?
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have done that with Hotter Than Hell. I understand why they didn't, because there's bigger songs on Destroyer, but
right.
It'd be cool to kind of go back and remix that album.
Yeah. Well, they'll never do it because there's no money in it, right?
No, are you kidding? They won't even put out a new record, right? So
yeah.
Which is frustrating. That's another thing that frustrates me, is that you've got all these other bands out there, like look at Alice Cooper. Right? I mean, he doesn't sell as many records as Kiss does, but he still puts out new music for the fans, right?
Right.
So you got to get past the point where, because again, it's Paul who doesn't want to do the album. Gene does. The rest of the guys do. But apparently Paul's working on a new Soul Station album. So that'll be coming out after the tour.
I don't know how the hell he's going to pull off Soul Station. He can't even sing Kiss tunes, but anyway. and I'm saying that as somebody who's like, I mean, of all the Kiss members, Paul's always been my guy, right?
Yeah.
And then Ace is a close second, right? So, I'm not saying these things because I have anything against Paul. For me, it just makes me sad. It just makes me sad, right? Like, one of the greatest rock records, period, of all time, as far as I'm concerned, is Paul Stanley's first solo record. Like, killer.
Yeah, that's a great album.
That is that's an album. You want to talk about overlooked record? Paul Stanley's solo record.
Yeah.
That's just the vocal performance, the songwriting, everything. It's just
Everything.
holy
Yeah.
shit.
All the way through.
Yeah. I mean, people go on about Ace's record, but yeah, Ace's record is good, but Paul's is like next tier.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
You were talking about new music. I mean, Sonic Boom's okay. It's got some good tunes on it. It is a little bit cheesy at times. Monster, same kind of idea. Hearing guys in their 60s talking about the ladies, kind of.
There was I didn't think there was as much as of that anymore, but I mean, it was just good to have something new. I
Yeah.
mean, um, I I think I've said this to you before too, but I really wish they would. Well, I guess they can't now, but uh, if Vinny was, say, easier to get along with,
Mhm.
because I think his contributions to like the non-Kiss makeup era were like, I mean, he's such a great songwriter. And that's the thing. Kiss hasn't been writing with anybody in like how long, right? Probably since
Well, and they've been like Paul's been producing the last two records, right?
yeah. Yeah. It's like it was great when they would write with, like Desmond Child and Jean Beauvoir and like
Yeah.
uh, I don't know why they still even Michael Bolton,
Yeah.
forever, right?
Forever too. Yeah.
Like I wish they would have, but they'll never do that now. But
No.
I mean, look at the stuff that Vinny contributed to on.
Thank you.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Long no see.
How are you?
Miss you.
Miss you too.
Oh, let's get back together, please.
Yes, sending you virtual hugs.
Okay. Ciao.
See ya.
That was Queen Bee. So for those of you that can't tuning in late, Mike is not only a good friend of mine. Mike is also the drummer for Rebel Charm. So if you wanna if you wanna go back in my playlist and look at, I got tons of like in my live playlist, lots of tunes that we've done. That's Mike on the drums. So there you go. If you want to check stuff out.
Is it? Oh,
yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
and I've said this to and I'm gonna compliment you here. I've said this to the folks in my chat, and I've said this on multiple channels. Mike, you are the best drummer I've ever played with. Honestly.
Oh man, thank you. I'll give you $50 next time I see you.
Holy shit, man! You make me raise my game. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, man, I love playing with you too. So I just wish this whole virus crap would be over with and get back to business, right? But
yeah, exactly.
What can we do? We got to stay healthy right now, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's about it, man. All right, so I'm just looking to see if there's. Ask Mike what his most prized Kiss collectibles are.
There are many. I mean, I've got the Kiss action figures from 1978, and they're in good condition. I say my Kiss originals too, because that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
I've got the Kiss radio.
Oh wow.
I don't know. That's a tough one again, because I mean, you're thinking. I think I started collecting Kiss stuff in like 78, 79. Like I still remember going to the Dynasty show and I bought a T-shirt. Well, I didn't pay for it, but a T-shirt and a tour book, which I still have.
I still have that tour book, yeah.
So the one thing that I do want that isn't in my collection, which may surprise you, is the Creatures of the Night tour book. And I remember because I went to that show.
I have it, I think.
And again, I was a kid, but they sold out of them. They had a very limited amount of tour books for that tour, or at least when they came to Toronto. And actually, the same thing happened at Lick It Up. I remember Lick It Up, I went to with my mom and my stepdad. And talk about being troopers. Like, it was pretty cool bringing your mom to a Kiss show. Or again, she brought me to the Kiss show, but still,
Right.
it was so cool. And yeah, the tour book was sold out. And I really wanted it. And I was so upset because I never got one at Creatures. And my stepdad actually bought it off somebody who was sitting behind us.
Wow.
So I don't know if that guy gave it up because he figured he'd get another one. But yeah, so, and I still have that too. I still have the ticket stubs.
Oh, that's cool.
It was Bass Outlets at the time, remember?
Yeah,
Not Ticketmaster.
yeah.
And I think it was like $12.50 or something.
Well, we got some questions for you. If you could only cover one Kiss song, this is from Ian, what would it be?
Can we narrow it down to makeup or non-makeup?
Well, let's do a makeup.
If I could cover one song. Okay, so you're talking like drum-wise?
Yeah, well, yeah. Like if Rebel Charm's like, we're gonna do one Kiss song from makeup, which one would you want?
I would probably say Love Gun. Because there's so many ways of playing that song.
Yeah, they've changed it up a bit. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the video of were you at the Phoenix Concert Theater show?
No, that one I did not see.
So that's when they first introduced Eric Singer, obviously.
Right.
And he threw some double kick into that song, and it just kind of notched it up to another level.
Right.
So I mean, that's just a fun song to play.
Right.
So I mean, there's so many, but
what would be your non-makeup then?
Non-makeup, maybe 1,000,000 to 1.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I love that song. I mean, I was so happy that Paul did that on his solo tour, and it sounded so good.
Yeah, he was doing that band from that TV show, right?
Yeah, from Rockstar in Excess.
Rockstar.
And they were so good. We saw them in Pittsburgh on his solo tour, and my God, and his voice was amazing then too.
Yeah, he could still sing. He was wearing a pretty bad wig at that point. But he could sing. Yeah, he could still sing. I have that DVD. I didn't go to those shows because they never came to Toronto, but I have the DVD, One Last Kiss, I think it's called. I have that.
Yeah, that's it.
Brian S is asking, when did Mike start playing drums? And he covets us. I think he's meaning, do you have Pearl or did you buy Pearl drums? Really, because you said you were in a Peter Criss.
Oh yeah, actually, it's funny. My first drum set was a Pearl drum set, but now I play DW, which Peter Criss went to, but it had nothing to do with that. Wasn't the reason I switched over. It was just I just liked the way they sounded better. I just liked the warmth of the like the tones, the whatever. Like they sounded bigger. Yeah, so.
I just wanted to say, like, what's cool about having another Kiss fan in the band is I'll come in and I'll start playing Kiss riffs. And the Kiss riffs that I'm playing, I'm not doing like Detroit Rock City. I'm not doing Shout It Out Loud. I'm doing deep cuts. Like I'm doing like Ace Frehley solo record. I'm doing
Hard Times.
I'm doing and it's like I don't even have to say a word. I just start the riff and boom, there's the drums and they're like right on. I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome.
It's just so funny because then you and I just get in this zone and we completely forget that Linda and John are there.
There's 200 people in the
band. It's like, oh geez, yeah, okay, we better get they're looking at us like we're on a crack or something like that.
Yeah, I figure while he's setting up his stuff, let's rock out on some Kiss riffs. So
yeah.
Tony's asking, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Eric Singer have to finish the last 2 months of the farewell tour in March, April 2001? No, not the farewell tour.
No.
So what happened? So speaking of the farewell tour, the reunion happened in 96. And on that tour, I saw them in Ottawa, and then I saw them the next day in Toronto. And then they did the second leg, or the Lost Cities tour. I saw them again, I believe, in Hamilton. So I saw them 3 times, I think, on that tour. Right? And then they did the farewell tour. I can't remember where the hell I saw them on the farewell tour, but I know I went to the farewell tour. And then after the farewell tour, they did the Psycho Circus tour.
Yeah.
Which I saw them at the Dome, and that's when they were handing out the 3D glasses.
Well, no, they did the Psycho Circus tour first, then they did the farewell tour.
Oh, okay, right, and that's when they handed out the 3D glasses and all that stuff. But when Eric Singer came in is when they went to Japan because Peter Criss, again contractually whatever, there was an issue, and he actually played Eric Singer with Ace, and a lot of people are saying, and if you watch those shows, and they're all on YouTube, and that's the show when Ace just started jamming and Gene was getting mad. If people are saying that's like the best possible Kiss lineup is having Singer on the drums and having Ace still playing guitar.
Yeah.
So
especially at that time, and Gene and Paul even talk about it in their books during that tour when Eric Singer came in. Like Ace really kind of smartened up.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't. I guess he was sober for a period of time around there.
Yeah.
But he definitely was. His behavior was a lot better, I guess. But yeah, I mean, man, that would have been so cool too. Yeah,
I would love to see that lineup.
Yeah.
So there's a question here for you, Mike. Who are your favorite drummers?
Favorite drummers? Okay. Neil Peart from Rush, for sure. Mike Mangini from Dream Theater. Let's see, who else? God. There's so many. I'm just trying to remember everyone's name. Oh geez, I can't remember his name. The drummer from Styx. A buddy of mine just recently got me into him. Todd Zuckerman from Styx. That guy's a monster. Yeah, I mean, I listen to everything from rock to jazz to funk to I mean, there's just so many different styles of music that I listen to.
Right.
As much as I love playing rock, I don't just try to learn rock. Like I try to learn other stuff too.
Yeah. I try to. Yeah.
Like you try to challenge yourself. Right?
Exactly. I try to dabble in other stuff too. So Fruitcake Tony is saying Peter Criss did not finish the farewell tour, and Eric Singer had to do the last part. Peter came back after that, but Singer did finish the farewell tour.
I don't remember that.
That is news to me too.
Yeah. It was possible. I don't think so, because I thought it was
I'm pretty sure he did the whole tour. That's when he drew the teardrop under his eye, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was upset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Don is asking to show if you can show some of your cool Kiss collectibles on camera. So Mike is visually challenged, so that would be hard for Mike to do. But maybe in a future show, maybe we can have some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I got tons of stuff. So
yeah,
I mean,
his room.
Just let me know what you're into. Like if you're into vinyl, I even have 8 tracks. So I've got all the Kiss albums on vinyl, cassette, CD, some 8-track, and then of course there's multiple versions, right? So
yeah. So Z351 is saying Singer played Japan and Australia farewell tour. Yeah, not North America though. Not North America. Okay, Z351 is saying the farewell tour was not just USA. Okay, that's I think now we understand where the split is. Yeah. So Mike and I are talking about North America, but yes, the farewell tour went overseas. Yes, you are correct. That's when Eric played with that we were just talking about that. But North America, it was Peter, but I stand corrected. Yes. Okay. Was I gonna? So you were saying you got a whole whack. Now, both of us have met. I think combined everybody in Kiss. But let me hear some of your stories about some of your run-ins with the guys in the band.
All right. I could tell you the first time I met them. I'll tell you that story first because that was just awesome. So it was Crazy Nights tour in Toronto, and I went with a friend of mine, and we ran into somebody, a mutual friend that we knew, and they told us what hotel they were staying at. So after the show, we went. It was the King Eddie Hotel in Toronto. I don't know if it's still there or not,
I don't
but.
know.
And I was thinking, yeah, right. Like they're just going to be walking around in the hotel. So first we had to find it. My friend was old enough to drive. Obviously, I wasn't. And yeah, we went in, didn't see them, and looking all over the place. No Kiss here, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I see Eric Carr, and man, I was like a giddy little schoolgirl, like because I loved Eric Carr. Right? I mean, first of all, he was the first rock star I ever met,
Right.
and I was just so nervous. And I went up to him, and he signed my tour book. I got my picture taken with him.
Right.
I talked to Eric Carr for probably a good 45 minutes.
Wow.
Just me, him, and my friend, and it was amazing. I'll never forget it. And then after Eric, Paul came down, and I got to talk with Paul for a little bit. There were a few other people there at this point, I guess, that had figured out where they were staying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Paul for maybe 15 minutes, and he signed my Crazy Nights tour book, and again got a picture with him. But the funny thing is that show, I audio recorded. I've been into like bootlegging shows since I was little.
Shh, quiet. Don't talk about that.
Okay, we won't. So, anyways, when I
Gene
was
will be
talking,
on you.
so yeah, well, when I was talking to Paul Stanley, I realized I'm like, wait a minute, I still have my tape recorder on me.
Oh,
So I actually pressed record, and I got a bit of the conversation with him.
oh wow.
And I actually recently transferred that to CD. So, because I've got the Crazy Nights show on 2 CDs, and then at the end, there's me talking with Paul Stanley, and then Bruce Kulick came down.
Right.
So I was talking to him for a little bit. By then, there were more people there, so it was harder. I got him to autograph stuff, and I got my picture taken with him. Gene never came down because he was in the room, probably doing. Well, we all know where Gene was that night.
With taxes.
Yeah, that's right, doing his taxes. So I mean, yeah, that was the first time I met them, and I was just, man, it was like a dream come true. It was just fantastic. And I mean, anybody that talks about Eric Carr, like all the stories are true. Like he would talk to you like he was like a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't make me feel intimidated. Like he made me feel so comfortable with him.
Right.
And it's funny, the only person that has ever said anything kind of negative about Eric was Paul Stanley in his book. And it really bothered me because it just didn't sound right.
I was saying that, Paul was always my guy, but reading his book, he went down a lot of notches, because one thing with Paul is everything I did is right. Everybody else is fun. You know what I mean? It's like it's the world according to Paul. That really, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why each member has their own book out, right? I mean, it's
right. Everybody's different.
But
Peter Chris is the funniest though.
Oh,
it's like, I did all this bad shit, but God is with me, so it's okay.
Actually, you want me to tell you that I've told it to you, but I don't know if
Yeah. We're talking about Peter. Give the Peter Chris story.
So for the reunion tour, we went and we saw them in Quebec, and then we saw them. I can't remember if it was the next night or if there was a night off in between. Then we saw them in Montreal, and I think it was the day off. So I think it was Quebec. Then they had the day off, and then Montreal.
What tour was this?
This is the reunion tour.
Oh, okay, 96.
Yeah. So I'm with a couple of my buddies. We went on a road trip, and we're on St. Catherine Street, which is like our young street. And I remember I was in a bookstore, because we'd always go in and, back then you had Metal Edge, you had Circus, like all those great rock magazines were out.
Right.
And I remember I'm reading this magazine and I just kind of happened to look over, someone's standing beside me, and I noticed the tattoo, and it's the Peter Criss tattoo from, the Rock Roll Over.
Right.
I'm thinking, I'm like, that's a really cool tattoo. That's like Peter's, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized it is him. He was wearing sunglasses and a beret. I'll never forget this, right?
Right.
So what do? So I was very calm and cool. I put my book down. I gathered my friends throughout the bookstore. Like I think there were 4 of us. And I said, listen, Peter Criss is in the store. And they're like, get out. I said, no, he's here. He's here. I was standing right beside him, and so we decided, you know what we'll do? We'll wait for him outside. So when he comes outside of the bookstore, we'll just, say hi to him, hopefully get an autograph, maybe a picture. And like it'll be cool. Even shake his hand, right? So he walks out. We're standing out in front. He's with Tommy Thayer. And Tommy's like, guys, it's his day off. Leave him alone. And we're saying, Peter, great show in Quebec. And he's completely ignoring us. And then we're like, can we just get an autograph, or can we get a picture? And I even said, can I just get a handshake? Completely ignored, didn't even look at us. And I was like, okay, this guy's been like one of my idols since I was a kid. Like I said, I mean, right. drumming wise, it's I'm not going to go there. Right. But I mean, but it was just so cool. Like, he was Peter Criss, right? And he completely ignored us. And I remember he went in with Tommy Thayer to a Roots store. So I don't think they have Roots in the States. So if anyone that's watching that they're wondering what Roots is, it's a clothing store.
Oh yeah, clothing store.
So there were tons of people wearing Kiss shirts on St. Catherine Street, because I guess there were people who were, again, if you're in Montreal, you're going to go to Quebec. We started telling people, hey, Peter Criss is in that store. They're like, what? Really? Like, we told so many people, right?
Yeah, just to piss them off.
Oh, yeah. So I remember him coming out, and I swear to God, there must have been like 60 or 70 or 8. Like, it was just tons of people swarming him.
Right.
And we were just like, you know what? Screw you, buddy. Like, it really pissed me off. And it was such a huge disappointment to, finally get to meet Peter. And then he just completely ignores us. Like, what's it? Okay. I know, it's your day off and everything, but what's wrong with saying, you know what? Thanks, guys. Even if you don't want to take a picture, sign an autograph. At least,
just say hello, wave. Hey, how you guys doing? Hope you guys enjoyed the show. What does that cost you?
Exactly. Now, having said that, anytime I've met Gene or Paul, thank God, they have been extremely nice to me. Gene, even to the point where I remember they were doing an autograph session at HMV, and we went in there, and my girlfriend at the time, my high school girlfriend, she couldn't come. And I had a video camera, and I said, Gene, my girlfriend couldn't come. Is it all right if I film you saying hello to her? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And he's so cool about it. Mm-hmm. Even we went to their hotel again in Buffalo on the Crazy Nights tour. This was after the Toronto show, and we found out what hotel they were staying at. And Gene actually came down at one point with Nick. Nick was a baby. and he was holding it, and
wow.
And people are like, oh, can we get a picture? And obviously he's holding Nick, right?
Right.
But he was still talking to me, and he was talking to my friend that we were with, and it was just so cool,
Yeah, totally
And
different. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and even then, it was in 1987, 88, actually, at that time. And I mean, I obviously he's got his kid there, right? So, but I just thought like he was super nice to me. So that to me goes a long way, like
Yeah.
it just leaves that lasting impression. I never got to meet Ace.
That's the only guy. Well, actually, Eric Carr, because he passed, but everyone else, other than Ace and Eric, I have stories about.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Yeah.
Bobby Lopes is saying something. He said it a couple of times. He goes, "Wow, I am also visually impaired. Must be a drummer thing." As Bobby plays drums as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool. Us drummers have to stick together.
Yeah.
So I wasn't always this way though. I used to have perfectly good vision, but yeah, it sucks. But music is what kind of gets me through.
Yeah.
Stuff, So
If folks, if you have questions, please tag me in the chat and I'll pass those along. So I guys met Pete. Speaking of Peter Chris, he was. I'm sure you must have gone to these things. Remember those Kiss conventions they used to have in the hotels downtown?
Yep.
So they had Peter one year. So you stand in line, you get an autograph, and it's like I shook Peter's hand and I said, thank you so much. I said you're a huge, influence on me, and blah 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 blah. He got me into music and all this, and he gave me one of these things, where like the gun thing, hey, yeah, one of these, hey, okay, buddy, kind of things, right? I'm like, man, that wasn't cool. You're Peter Chris. Anyway, so I met him. Vinnie Vincent, they had him one year. I met him. I even met Mark St. John.
Yeah.
They had one year. They had Bill Coyne and Sean Delaney. I spoke with both of those guys. That was probably that was the best. Was those two guys because you're hearing stories. Now Sean Delaney claims to have written every song that Kiss ever did, but I mean, apart from that, but that was kind of cool because you're hearing about the band out. You're not just hearing because you've heard everything they're going to say because you've heard it a million times in interviews or whatever, but you don't really hear from Sean Delaney, who's actually both of them have passed away. Got arrested.
Yeah.
But that was one of the better ones. Out of all the guys, Paul Stanley, meet and greets, I met him, but the best experience I had with Paul Stanley kind of goes back to what you're saying, is when he was here doing Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would come out that door. He would know every night there'd be like 10, 15 people waiting for him. And he would come out, and I think we went down twice. And he comes out, and he he's all dressed in a leather jacket. He always looks like a rock star.
Yeah.
And he says, "All right, folks, okay, anybody, let me know what you like, pictures, whatever you guys need, right?" And there was a guy with him, and he would go through everybody, take pictures with everybody, sign whatever he wanted him to sign, and then he would jump in his car and take off.
Yeah.
That was Paul. Gene, I did the meet and greet. I mean, I met him at book signings and stuff before that, but when I met him at the meet and greet, I mean, he's coming around like as soon as the time was like Tommy Thayer is gone, which is fine. I'm not really too concerned with that. But Tommy Thayer and Paul left right away. And at the meet and greet, when they were doing the acoustic set, I could literally scratch Paul's nose because I was standing right in front of him.
Yeah.
And all the songs that they were playing were songs that I was calling out. And I was calling out some deep cuts. And they were trying. I have it all on video.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I have that.
Yeah, I have it all on video. Like I would say like 95% of what they attempted to play was coming out of my mouth because I was right in front of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, but as soon as it was done, but Gene, he hung around. He went around everybody. I got pictures with Gene. He's joking around with me. He was like, The guy's like, I mean, I'm not tall, and he's like, towering over me. But and
Yeah.
Eric Singer too, the same thing. They both stayed for like a good 45 minutes after the other two guys ran off.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very cool. But the guy that I spent the most time with is hands down is Bruce Kulick.
Yeah.
I've spent so much time with Bruce Kulick at those conventions. There was one time he came down to the convention. It was him and it was John Corabi because he was in Union at the time.
Yeah.
And I was hanging out and shooting the shit with John Corabi and Bruce Kulick. And they were really cool guys.
Yeah.
You know? And then I met Bruce Kulick years later, and I had photos of him back then with Corabi, and I'm like, hey, remember? Oh yeah, this is when he played. It was with Grand Funk, and he played here in
Casino-rama.
Casino-rama.
Yeah.
And actually, I was with somebody who actually bought one of his stage played guitars, and we went up there, and we actually went to a suite, and he was, I actually got to play Bruce's guitar before he played it that night. So that was very cool.
That's cool.
Here's a couple questions. Dan in New Jersey. This is not Kiss related, but it's drum related. What does Mike think of Keith Moon?
Keith Moon, you know what? I like him. I'm actually a big Who fan as well. Yeah, I mean, Neil Peart loved him too, right? So that's got to say something. But yeah, again, gone too soon. Like, imagine what he could have done if he was still around.
Yeah,
same with John Bonham, right? So, that's another drummer that I love too, is John Bonham from.
Oh man,
whoever asked earlier. Yeah, I love John Bonham.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Keith Moon's great.
Okay, Fruitcake Tony's got a question. Have either of you got a Gene Can I Borrow a Dollar story? I don't know what that means. Gene's never asked me for money.
I've got the Gene Simmons soda.
Oh, you got one of those?
Yeah, I got a couple of packs actually.
You would, yeah.
Yeah, I got one of each of the flavors. So that was fun. Going into the States, trying to find a place that had it. That was like the. Did you ever see the Kiss M&Ms?
No.
Okay, I had to drag my girlfriend to about, I want to say 7 or 8 Walmarts to find. This was only in the States, so we were in Buffalo. So it was just,
right.
Yeah, one day was just dedicated to we had to find these Kiss M&Ms, and I bought
scavenger hunt. Yeah,
I bought 8 packs of it, and it's cool. It has their pictures on each one, right? Like on the actual candies itself.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I also have the Kiss Pez. I've got yeah. I mean, it's
talking about the States, man. So like when I would go to the States as a kid, it was the same thing. It's like, oh man, this is like where all the good Kiss stuff is, right? Because you can't have the shit, they don't have it in here, right? So
yeah.
I'll never forget. We went to some department store somewhere, and you remember when they had I'm going back to the 70s when they had those Kiss Halloween costumes.
Oh yeah, yeah. In the box,
they had the mask and like the block thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And the only one they had left was a Peter Criss one. I'm like, I don't care. I want the Peter Criss. So I actually have the Peter Criss. God knows where it is now. They had the mask with the hair.
Yeah.
Went for Halloween as Peter Criss that one year.
That's awesome.
Bobby Lopes is saying, me too, had 20/20 vision, but diabetes made my vision go bad. Where there is a will, there is a way. Rock on, Mike. There you go.
No, thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's interesting because since I've lost my sight, I've hooked up with other people who have lost their sight as well, and everybody's story is different. For me, like I said, I had perfect vision, and in 2010, I found out that I had a brain tumor wrapped around my optic nerve. So it was a pretty big surgery, and the tumor growing there caused damage to my optic nerve, and then obviously when they removed it, it caused more damage. And then my vision was still okay. I lost half my vision after the surgery, but I was still able to do things. Like I was still driving, And it wasn't until like late 2016, 2017 where my optic nerve really started to go downhill. So, like Walter, when we or Guitar Hack, when we started doing our rehearsals,
Yeah.
I was driving. I think
You drove when
yeah.
for my audition. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was
drove.
driving. So yeah, I mean it sucks, but yeah, I mean you just got to.
That audition was funny. I still remember that audition. So I show up, and there's you and Mike, you and John, and it's like I still remember. I brought my Ernie Ball Music Man, and I was playing this Boss. I think I still had the Boss ME70 or whatever, which is like absolute dog shit. Anyways, I plugged it into the Marshall, and I'm like, and then as soon as I heard you guys play, I'm like, all right, I'm out of my league here. And I don't know, I don't even remember what we played. Oh, wait a minute, it was like an AC/DC tune. It was Jailbreak and I remember playing Jailbreak.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Anyways, there was a few songs that I learned whatever, and then I'm putting my shit away, and it's like, all right, you're in. I'm like, what? Like, what? That was funny.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
Hack had one orange shoe and one red shoe. Not quite. Not quite. Yes, quite. And I brought the Ernie Ball because I needed the whammy bar. So that's right, because we were doing Jailbreak, and I was doing those sound effects.
God, how long ago was that? Well, I had more sight then, so it seems like ages ago.
4 years ago or something.
At least, yeah.
Oh, that's very nice. Bobby Loeb says, you guys rock. Great band. Thank you so much. Folks, if you want to hear some Rebel Charm, all kinds of it, just check my playlist, my live playlist. There's all our rehearsals and all kinds of cool tunes that we cover. And so, yeah, go ahead, Jay. So how was I? Yeah, the famous Ace Frehley quote when he's passed out on the floor and Bob Kulick walks out after recording one of his solos. Yeah. Well, we've been going for an hour and 15. Are you still good, Mike?
I'm still good. Yeah.
So there was a question earlier on that I guess we can approach now. So somebody was asking right at the top of the chat, and I believe it was Don, was asking if we think Ace will play with Kiss on their final show, the very last show, which they were supposed to. They announced it, and they had the countdown and all that, which obviously that all went away.
Yeah.
But they're talking in New York City. That's where they want to end their career. So what are your feelings on that, Mike? Do you think they'll actually bring Peter and Ace up? What do you think?
I don't think so. I think there's too much, I want to say ego, but I actually heard a recent interview, like within the last week, from Ace, and says he's had no contact from the Kiss camp at all. And also, Ace will not go on stage with Tommy Thayer dressed as the spaceman. He said that before.
Yeah.
Now, would they ever do something where, I mean, it's not even like the MTV Unplugged where the other guys go backstage and the four of them play together, because Gene and Paul are going to be wearing makeup.
Right.
I doubt Ace and Peter are going to come out. I mean, it's unrealistic. I mean, as we know with Kiss, you never know, but
yeah,
the way it looks right now is just I can't see it happening. That's just me, and just from like what I've heard. And I mean, for the first time, I mean, since this whole reunion or second reunion tour, Peter's just he doesn't really want to have anything to do with it. He hasn't even really commented or anything. So, but you never know.
I think if anyone is going to come out, if any former members were to come out, I could see Bruce coming out.
Yeah,
because Bruce has always been sort of, I don't want to say a yes man because that has a negative connotation, but he's always sort of been pro Kiss, and I get what you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because really, when they they did the reunion and then the unplugged, and then they went and they did the reunion tour. I mean, they left him and Eric kind of high and dry. Eric,
Yeah.
he did all right because he got the gig anyway. But Bruce, but you never hear any ill will from Bruce regarding them continuing on and getting Tommy in, and and he doesn't. And he says even if they offered it to him, he wouldn't want to do it. And I think I believe that. He's like, well, what am I going to be? He's like, he jokes, am I going to, am I going to be the dog?
The ostrich, yeah.
The ostrich or whatever. Like,
yeah.
So, and I think Bruce is, I mean, not that I know him that well, but I spent a bit of time with him, and he's a pretty no nonsense guy, right? So,
yeah.
I could see him coming out and maybe doing like a non makeup era.
Yeah.
Tune just to
that'd be cool. I mean, even just the stuff that he's done on the Kiss cruise sounded amazing.
Yeah, well, again, Bob, rest in peace. But
yeah,
if you've seen any of that footage when he and Bob came out,
oh yeah,
and they were doing like, I mean, for me, okay, the Bruce stuff is cool, but for me, the Bob stuff is even cooler.
Yeah.
Right, because the Bob stuff,
it's the stuff he played on because he was doing a lot of stuff from Alive too.
It's the stuff he played on, and it's the stuff you've never heard played, right?
Yeah.
Like All American Man,
Larger Than Life,
Than Life, all that stuff, the stuff off of Killers.
Yeah.
Nowhere to Run, which is
I'm a Legend Tonight.
I'm a Legend Tonight. All those songs that, I mean, that Killers, I mean, there's a couple of songs in there that never saw the light of day. I mean, outside of the Killers release, like Nowhere to Run is an absolute stellar. That's like one of the deepest cuts, but it's one of the best that'll never see the light of day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I was thinking when we were talking about the set list, I think the show that we saw at Casino Rama, they did Flaming Youth, right?
I believe maybe.
Yeah, it was. That was the show. And I remember thinking to myself, that actually sounded really good because he's singing in a lower register.
Right.
So for this tour, like, why would they drop a song like Flaming Youth and do Say Yeah?
I don't know. Say Yeah is a shit song.
I don't understand. I don't know where that came from. You know what? That was like I Still Love You. Paul had this thing with I Still Love You. I mean, they played it on the Creatures tour. They played it on the Animalized tour. They brought it back for I think for Lick It Up. Did I say Lick It Up tour?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is with that song. I mean, that's probably one of my least favorite Kiss songs.
When he was able to sing, he could do all those vocal acrobatics with it.
Yeah.
Right? That was sort of that was a showpiece, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Also, Revenge. They did it for the Revenge tour as well. Like I don't know what it is with that song, but
it's because that's his moment in the spotlight. That's I mean, and they did it in Unplugged again, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Quinn is mentioning Vinnie Vincent. I can pretty much guarantee you Vinnie Vincent will not be on the very next show.
Yeah. Paul won't have it. Gene would, though.
Yeah.
Gene would be fine with it.
Yeah, that whole thing when Vinnie came out. Did the vault thing did you? With
No, I didn't do it.
You
and I had talked about it, but then we realized that if we went through with it, we'd both have to find new places to live.
That's right.
That's what happened. So, but I do have a copy of it, though. I shouldn't say that.
No.
A friend of a friend of a friend of a distant cousin on the other side of the world has a copy of it, and I've heard it.
There you go. Let's just hope that Gene is not listening to this show. But yeah, so if anyone's got any other questions regarding Kiss, we haven't even really gotten into the real heavy nerdy stuff. But anybody's has any questions, things you're wondering about Kiss, just serve them up between Mike and myself. I'm sure we will have an answer for you.
Yeah, there's always you can go on and on about Kiss. There's always something or some story or
Even I mean, not like I don't think I'll go to another Kiss show.
You will.
90% I won't go to another Kiss show.
Yeah, you will.
Okay, sure. But I say that, and I've said it before, and but even Ace's shows, I don't think I've seen Ace solo now, man, 3 times or 4 times. I've seen Ace solo.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him, you were there when we went down to Buffalo.
Yeah, that was a good show.
That was a good show. That was the best I think No, wait a minute. I saw a show before that. He played down on Queens Quay at that bar that's no longer there anymore. Anyways, that was his best show that I've seen. And
RPM?
RPM, that's it. And I was like, I could scratch Ace's nose. I was standing right in front of him.
Yeah, that was a great. I love that venue.
Fantastic. I actually dug that show more than the Buffalo show.
Mm-hmm.
But even Ace's solo stuff, it's like the last solo record. I still thought it was okay.
Oh.
I thought it was okay. Of the solo records, it's of the recent ones, that's the weakest. The one before that, the Space Invader, that one was pretty good. It had some catchy tunes on it. What was the one? What was the one before that? Space
Anomaly?
Invader, then Space Ace, right? Was that this?
And Anomaly was before that.
Oh, sorry, Anomaly, then Space Invader. Okay,
yeah.
Anomaly was pretty good too. There's a song on there that I really like. Oh shit, something in your face.
In your face.
Yeah, I love that tune. I mean, the thing is, and some of the instrumental stuff. I mean, you got Anton Fig on the drums, and I mean, him and Ace. I really like when those guys are playing together.
Well, that was the first album Anton Fig played on. The Fraley's Comet.
No, it was Genghis Khan. That's Anomaly, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's.
So.
Yeah, that's a really good. There's some good in some of the good instrumental stuff that Anton does with him. That's just fantastic.
My favorite. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you hear the latest from the Origin? The Space
Origins 2
that he put out?
Space Trucking? Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You know what? Honestly, man, like for me, obviously the first Ace album that he did in 78, but
yes,
non-Kiss, like I love the first 3 albums that he put out.
Fraley's Comet.
Yeah, like the Fraley's Comet, Second Sighting, and then Live Plus One. And I love the lineup that he had too. So minus, he didn't end up touring with
Anton
Fig, but I mean Todd Howarth, like he was a great singer songwriter. I thought that was the best lineup. John Regan and like to me those albums are the best. So that's just my opinion though.
Yeah
Like even like the quality of songs, like there's so many good songs on those albums. So even the ones that Todd Howarth sings are so good.
That's where we're like kind of like I want to hear Ace. I don't want to hear Todd Howarth.
Yeah, see, I liked him too.
I want to hear Ace. I don't want to hear. So Don is asking, what do we think about Gene's political views? I mean, they're his views.
Yeah. He's entitled to an opinion just like everyone else.
I mean, just like Ted Nugent is and everybody else, I'm only concerned with their music, whether like they're doing. Well, here's a good question from Half-Face. Half-Face is a Kiss fan. You can tell just by the question. He's asking, Boomerang or no?
Boomerang.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you.
I was never a big fan of No.
Yeah, well, it's not even a song.
Or Bang Bang You. Like,
Oh, Bang Bang You.
There were some really good songs off of Crazy Nights.
I liked. I mean, I know you've got all the bootlegs. So when they did the Crazy Nights in Japan, the Budokan show, I liked that breakdown on Bang Bang You. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, didn't they do that here too? Yeah, because then Eric went into it was guitar solo. Then they went into No No No. Are we talking about No 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 or Bang Bang You? Sorry.
Bang Bang You.
Okay, forget it. I'm wrong song.
We did a little breakdown that actually I thought it came off better than it does on the record, anyways. Donis, Chris K, would you like to know what you think about? Oh, Chris K's asking a question. He'd like to know what you think about Paul and Gene replacing themselves. That's a non-starter for me. I mean,
it just no. And as much as they say the fans were 50% wrong, I mean, it's just.
All right, so so that brings about another question. So here's the deal. So I mean, if I look at all the shows that I've seen at this point, oh man, how many shows have I seen with Tommy and Eric? At least 6, maybe 7. And when I go and I see a Kiss show now, I'm going for Paul and Gene. I'm not going for Tommy and Eric. And as great as they are and whatever, it's like already I'm going, I'm already reaching for straws. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not, but if I want to see Paul and Gene at all, that's the only vehicle that I'm going to see them in.
Well, you're forgetting we spent Gene's birthday with him a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was
great.
Yeah, well, where I was sitting was horrible.
Hey, I was second row and I still couldn't see. So
no, okay, well, for me, where I was, I don't know what the hell, and it wasn't just me. I was with Ken, and it's just the mix of the guitars was just so piercingly sounding bad. They were playing songs that I loved. I love the set list. That I'll give you. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But I wish that the freaking mix I guess we were just in a bad spot.
It must have been where you were sitting. Kind of
horrible.
Yeah, because I thought it sounded great.
Yeah.
Well, the set list was great too.
I don't know if you realize this, but they were giving out free tickets to that because there wasn't enough people going. Eh?
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
Well, look at the show that I went to in Buffalo. I told you what happened there, right?
Remind me.
We bought the cheapest tickets. A friend of mine said like tickets were like dirt cheap. I want to say like maybe $40.
Right.
I think we paid for that. And we were up in the nosebleeds. And so we didn't know where we were sitting until we got down to the venue. You had to go to the the ticket wicket in the front and show your ID and get your tickets.
Right.
So we were told that we've been upgraded to the lower level. So we're like, oh, okay, right. We were hanging out in the front lobby, and I remember hearing this guy asking the girl behind the ticket counter, you got any tickets for tonight's show? And she's like, yep. She's like, I got, floors, I've got side views, I've got fifth row here. And
so it didn't quite sell well. Eh?
No, but they had also just played there again a few months earlier. Right. And so once we got in there, the entire upper level of the arena was closed off. So it was just the bottom level that they were playing.
The coolest thing about that was hearing Gene play songs that I've never heard Gene do. That was the coolest part of that whole evening.
Well, you're talking about Gene's solo show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, he was pulling them out. He was playing the deep cuts that he was doing Charisma. I mean, Charisma is one of my favorite Gene songs. I mean,
well, even when he did Wall of Sound, that sounded so good.
Yeah.
And he wants to do it because he even said at the show, he's like, I'd love to do this with Kiss, but for some reason, some of the guys and the band don't want to play it. But I thought it sounded great. It's like it's a new song, but I'd take that over, say, any day.
Oh yeah, and he did "Got Love for Sale," which is another one of my favorite songs. That's a deep, deep cut. I love the song off of Love Gun.
Yeah.
Metal Hit Hippie is saying, is there an actual measurement on Gene's tongue? I remember like reading in the magazines way back. It was like 7 inches or something. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, 7, 8.
7, 8
somewhere around there.
Fruitcake Tony Hack, I've told you before, but my first Kiss show, November 76, Raleigh, North Carolina, was the first time they performed Beth and I Want You live.
Wow.
That was a Rock and Roll Over tour then. Actually, the record came out in January of 77. Am I wrong, Mike?
No, 76.
Rock and Roll Over? No.
Rock and Roll Over came out in 76.
Okay. Destroyer came out in 76.
Yeah.
Right? Rock and Roll Over came out in the wintertime. So I thought it was January of 77. Somebody looked that up.
Yeah.
Hey, Fender Guru is with us. Welcome. My first concert was I just missed it, but somebody was saying the first concert was Dynasty. That was my first concert as well.
Yeah, and mine too.
Yeah. I never forget the date, man. August 4th, 1979. It's 12 years old.
Man.
Yeah.
I would have done anything to gone to a show even earlier than that. Like, I mean,
know. Well, that was already past their peak. The show for me, okay, how about this? Any era. If you could go to any show in any era, what would be the era you'd want to?
Love Gun tour.
Love Gun?
Yeah, because even the stage was a bit better, right? They had the stairs and everything, and that was so cool how they recreated that for the Detroit Rock City movie.
Yeah.
And they came down off those cherry picker things.
The cherry pickers, yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking, man. You know, I like the idea of Love Gun, but then just for the pure like raw and rawness of it, I'm almost thinking like the Alive, like 75.
Oh, that would be good too. Yeah.
You know, because I mean, well, I have all 3 nights at Cobo Hall, and I'm sure you do too. And those are some of the best performances because those guys they're just like pumped and they're on fire, man. And they're just coming out and they're like, you know what I mean? They were hungry. Even the Hotter Than Hell, the Winterland show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God. I mean, Peter, by the time the night's over, his makeup is all just melted off his face. He's just playing his freaking. I mean, that guy played like an animal back. I mean,
yeah.
You know, the reunion tour. It's like tap, tap, tap.
Well, I think that's another thing Paul Stanley says in his book is the triggers were set to the highest level. So he said that if someone was to sneeze behind the drum set, it would do a complete drum solo. So.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Well, we've been going for a little over an hour and a half. If anyone's got any last minute questions, fire them off. In the meantime, I just want to thank everybody for checking out the show. And if you would like to support the channel, that would be much appreciated. There are links below. There are Guitar Hack mugs, Guitar Hack t-shirts, Guitar Hack hoodies. Now that unfortunately the fall is coming. There's also a Guitar Hack. There's a PayPal down there. That'd be awesome. I have an Instagram. I have a Guitar Hack Facebook, Guitar Hack group. All the links are below. So anything that you guys would want to do, contribute, that would be much appreciated. Okay, and now there's a few more questions here. Please ask your friend if he had a chance to play one song on stage with Kiss. What song would it be? That's a good question.
Again, are we talking makeup, non-makeup, or just any song in general?
I think any song.
Oh man, if I had the opportunity, I'd play any song they wanted me to. But again, I don't know. Love Gun, Creatures, maybe. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's funny. The thing with Creatures too is you've got some bootlegs of them on the Creatures tour, right?
The Creatures, that's the hard one. I mean, you got
there's
still footage.
Yeah.
You got a show from Montreal that's really badly filmed.
Yeah.
Those are the only two that I've got.
Sorry, what was the first one that you said?
The Brazil.
Yeah, the Rio.
The Rio, and then I've got I believe it's Montreal.
But do you remember how fast
Quebec
they sped everything up?
Yeah, 100 miles a minute.
Actually, for the Animalized tour?
The Hot in the Shade too, man. It's like, holy shit, everything's at breakneck speed,
Yeah, I don't know why they ever did that.
I don't know, man.
But I mean, it was great on the Revenge tour when they opened with Creatures, and I mean, and it was at the proper tempo that it was supposed to be at. That sounded so good.
One of the best bootlegs, and it's like there's zero stage production, is the tour that they did in São Paulo. Where they, it was Eric Singer, and it was Bruce Kulick. I think it was like, I don't know what album that would have been, if it was even an album.
Oh, is that where they had they had the stage for Hot in the Shade?
No, that's another show.
Oh, okay.
This is like bare stage. Even the Kiss logo looked like it was like a cardboard cutout. It looked really
cool. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of what it was. I think maybe one of the Monsters of Rock things or something. Anyway, that's what's like. Eric is just a beast on that show, and it's funny when they're playing War Machine. He puts on like an army hat when they're playing War Machine.
Yeah, I don't remember. God,
thousands of
they just kind of blend into each other, and it's like, man, I've traded with people and got bootlegs that I already had, and I didn't,
You forgot you had them.
Yeah. So
yeah, the Holy Grail is still like a full. There's a few of them. An entire Hotter Than Hell tour would be one.
Yeah, and a Creatures. And like North America show, Pro Shot would be amazing.
Pro Shot Creatures and a Pro Shot, a well shot Asylum would be another one.
Oh yeah, I would love that. I love that album. I love that too, especially Gene's hair. I love that wig.
Yeah, those cheesy outfits, man.
Oh man, it was awesome though. Like, it was so good. I remember seeing them on that tour in Toronto and King Cobra opening up, and they were so good too.
Yeah,
you remember that? Were you at that show?
That tour. That's when I was unplugged at that point.
Oh, okay.
I did go to the Crazy Nights though.
Yeah,
I remember. So here, I've been to so many shows. I've forgotten shows that I've been to, and I remember you said to me, "says I know we were talking. You're like, I got the Crazy Nights from Toronto." I'm like, "Hey man, can I borrow that? I haven't seen that show." And then I'm watching it. I'm like, "Wait a minute, I was there." I totally forgot I went to that show.
That's so funny.
I saw it. I'm like, wait a minute, I remember that. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, actually, I went to that. I'll tell you the Asylum I didn't go to, and I didn't go to Revenge. And the reason why I had a gig on the same night as the Revenge.
Oh,
I was doing like some festival or something.
Yeah,
I didn't go to the Revenge show. Those two I missed, but I've pretty much seen everything else.
Actually, I got a funny story about the Revenge show because it was at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Yeah.
And me and my friend snuck in and watched their sound check. And we were sitting like in the Reds.
Nice.
Like, I don't know if you remember. And because I remember they were late setting up the stage. And we were sitting there. Sorry, we didn't actually see their sound check. We saw them setting up the stage. Mm-hmm. And I remember, you remember there was like, there was a set of stairs and there was an amp that was kind of tilted at an angle. Do you remember that
show? But I've seen
like just on the video.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So I remember like somebody brings out this amp, they kind of put it at an angle on the stairs, and my friend and I are like, what are they doing? Like they're probably gonna move that, right?
Yeah,
it was just, I don't, to me the best stage show that they had non-makeup was Hot in the Shade.
Yeah, with
like if they would have had that stage with makeup, like that was incredible. I mean, with the like lasers coming out of the Sphinx and then the Sphinx explodes and like it was such a great tour.
Yeah, like I mean, when I saw them on Lick It Up was it's like, okay, we're taking off the makeup, we're taking out the same tour. It was the same tank. It was the same. It was the same, And then Asylum, or no, is it Animalized? All they had was those grates on the. There was no stage, some like animal furs or whatever.
Yeah,
very, very, very little production.
I actually had to go to Buffalo for that because they never came to Toronto on the Asylum or the Animalized tour.
Okay, maybe I'm confused then. Maybe I didn't see the Animalized either. Then if they never came to Toronto, then I probably that's another. So that's be another. So what am I thinking of? See, I can't remember what shows I went to and what shows I didn't. One of the coolest openings was the Creature. This I remember was the Creatures of the Night tour, because they had they made like a curtain of dry ice blowing from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
No, I mean God, how old was I? I was like 11 years old. So
they had the dry ice blowing down, and then it cleared away, and then they came out.
I do remember though going to Creatures, and I remember we had Reds for that show, and I'm looking at the guitar player, and I'm like, that's not Ace.
Same experience.
Yeah,
I'm like, I want to buy a T-shirt, and the guys will go, 10th anniversary. Remember the shirt, 10th anniversary?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, did Ace change his makeup? Who's this guy?
I remember I was like just kind of shocked. Like I didn't know what was going on.
I know.
Because I mean, again, no
internet.
Yeah. I mean, it was the only way you found out about things was either reading it in a magazine and, or the occasional Entertainment Tonight, little, but yeah, I remember. And then I think somebody told us that, oh no, that's the Replacement. And we're like, Replacement? Like,
yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, it was just like so bizarre.
Scrawny guy that looked super awkward running around, and then the thing is with me, like, they're doing Calling Dr. Love, and it's like, that's not Ace's solo.
Yeah.
And then he comes out, he did the violin bow. I have that. I bought the bootleg cassette of that show.
Oh, you know what? I'll upgrade you. I have it on CD.
And Vinny's. I was never a fan of Vinny's playing.
See, I liked them. I mean, for what he did, and I liked him with the makeup. I liked him better with the makeup than without.
Well, yeah. But his playing, I never, like when he did because he always did the big solo, right? I'm like, this is, I don't know. It wasn't musical for me. It was just, I don't know. A great songwriter and all that, but I was never a fan of his playing. Like, I mean, when he did the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, I mean, that's just, all that stuff I think is crap. But
I like that, right? Like I love like the hair bands and stuff like that, right? So
I like some of the hair bands too. But give me Cinderella, don't give me Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
I thought there were some great songs on there that time of year, and like, oh man, I thought they were great. And then the second album was great. I don't know. That's just me though. I thought they were really, really good.
I'll give me Cinderella or give me Rat or even Crew.
All of those, all of the above. The more hairspray, the better.
Is that 351 is asking if you could add any 3 songs to the set list, what would they be? I got my number 1, Mr. Speed. That would be my.
That would be cool.
Deep cuts. It would be Mr. Speed. Okay. It would be Strange Ways.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my 1 and 2, my 1-2 punch, and then for a third song. Shit, I don't know. I'd say Got Love for Sale, something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be the original. It'd be from the first, original Makeup Records. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Cal, I'm going to go backwards. A deep cut that I'd like to hear from the non-Makeup era would be Betrayed. I really like that too.
Betrayed?
Yeah, I thought that was a great song. I thought that was a much better song than Rise to It. When they released,
it sucks.
When they released that first single for Rise to It, I remember I was like,
"What?
Like, I don't understand why."
Better than this.
I mean, there were so many good songs on that
I
album.
mean, Silver Spoon, I'd take over that.
Oh yeah, You Love Me to Hate You.
I mean, yeah.
Like, God, like I mean,
What about Read My Body?
yeah. God, I gotta think of a.
Some of those songs are so cheesy, man. The cheesiest song. I mean, they've done a lot of cheesy songs, but I think one of the cheesiest songs is, oh God, oh man, what's the song where they're pushing the beds, the video?
All Night.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is just.
It's a good song though. And then from
too much for me, man.
From Crazy Nights, like Turn on the Night, like what a great song.
Turn on the Night's not bad. It's not bad. I like Girl Gone Bad on that record.
That's a good tune too.
That's great. Hell or High Water is another great song on that record.
Yeah, you know what? But again, the Crazy Nights album, when they released the first song, Crazy Crazy Nights, I wasn't that crazy about it.
Yeah. Well,
like there were songs that were way better on that album.
That song actually was a hit in the UK. Like I mean, there's people I talk to in the UK. They don't know anything about Kiss makeup era.
Yeah.
Their Kiss for them was Crazy Nights era. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But that's what made it over there.
Yeah.
Going down. Lori's Mishmash. Hey, Guitar Hack. I'm waiting on a mug. I'm just sad it doesn't have your mug on the mug. I appreciate that, Lori. Believe me, I'm doing you a favor. Sandra Picorni. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Sandra's putting up the links. Sandra's a moderator and she's doing a fantastic job and much appreciated. Okay, I'm just going down, making sure I'm not missing any questions. Okay. All right, man. So I think we're going to wrap it up at this point.
All right. Mike? Well, I just want to thank you for having me on. I mean,
long overdue.
Yeah, we should do this again. Maybe we'll throw some memorabilia in next time, and yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, folks. If you want to see a part 2, let me know. Next week on the show, I have a musician, a full-time musician. Vince will be coming on the show. And after that, I don't know. So I should make a mention. There is a possibility that I might have to change the night of the show from Thursday. I'm thinking I might switch over to a Wednesday night. I will let you know that in advance. So the Hack Show may change nights. And reason for that is the Hit Disturbers, my other band, we might have to start rehearsing on Thursday. So if that's the case, I'm going to have to switch nights. So, but I'll give you lots of notice for that. So, yeah. So thanks everybody for tuning in. You guys rock. I got a video that went up today. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's just a fun video. I'm playing a Telecaster and I'm playing a Les Paul over the same backing track, and it's just guess which guitar is which. So it's just for fun. I'll wait till I get a few more days till I get some more comments and guesses on which is which, and then I'll reveal which guitar was which. Check that out. If you haven't checked out my 5 favorite riff series, please have a look at that. AC/DC is the most recent one. And yeah, it's about it. So have a great week, everybody. Thank you so much, Mike. Mike, hang out for a second.
Thank you. Yeah. Cheers.
And, yeah, cheers, man. And we'll catch y'all next time. All right. Take care, everybody.